Hi, my name is Dennis Allen, and we're going to talk about mapping with a spreadsheet program. I'm going to use Microsoft Excel, but you can do this with other programs such as OpenOffice or LibreOffice, anything like that. You might have to become a little more creative, but it can be done. A little bit about me is I sat on a Des Moines Citizen Cemetery Advisory Committee for about 6 years. I was the second vice president of the Iowa Genealogical Society, and I run Avon Cemetery in Des Moines, Iowa. What got us started on this is a friend of ours had an old paper map, and it would get hard to read at times. So we wanted to make it so that it was easy to see real quick and visually. We wanted her to be able to edit it real quick. And once it's on paper, you have to erase and it turns gray and things like that. So I started doing it for her in Microsoft Excel. And as Excel got better, so did the program. So I could modify it for her. Not only do we do a map, we do an index also. This index allows you to hyperlink and things like that. Your limitations are your creativity. So you can jump right in and you can play with it. And I always recommend that whenever I teach somebody this, do a small cemetery first, even if it's fake. It doesn't have to be a real cemetery the first time. Just play with it and make a cemetery. Maybe take a section of yours and just see what you can do. Break it up and things like that. But don't be afraid to try it. And once you get it done, if you ever want to print it out, just print it out or save it as a PDF and take it to your local blueprint company and tell them to give it to you in the size that you want. We take ours to a local company, Beeline and Blue, and it cost me about $7. It's not expensive to get these maps printed out. When I get that, they usually print it about a 3x5, 3x6, so it comes out fine for me. I keep it for a couple years, I'll write on it, and then I'll fill it in with my Excel, I'll print out a new one, so I can always go get new ones. It's easy to share with other people. We did one for Carlisle, and the American Legion came to us and said, we'd like to know where all the military people are so we can put our flags down. I went in, I modified it, I gave it to them. They know right where their people are. They can go put flags every year. It's that simple. Okay? So when we start this, I don't want you to be afraid to try. First off, why do we want a map? And you're going to see that this map looks very nice. With this map, you can see people buried, you can see people owning, but the problem is, let's find a spot here. This Scoville spot right here. See it? They have one person buried. Now if they bury another person, they have to erase the name Scoville, they have to come down, then they have to do it again and again. So it makes it tough. You can tear it in that sense and things like that. It'll turn gray as you erase it. I don't know if I can see any that have been erased yet, but here you can see how they've laid out two, and then it's nice looking. It really is, but we can make it better looking. We can make it better functionally. So we're going to go through step by step. I'm going to try and take my time and give you ideas of what you can do with this. Like I said, you're limited to your creation. Here's one that I've done, and we're going to try and do it again. See, we're going to do it from map build. Let's stretch this out a little bit so we can see it better. And here's what it looked like when I finished it. Look how nice and clear that looks. If I want to go in and edit, I click in there and edit. I can change a name if I want, if I have something wrong. So we're going to try and recreate this. If not exactly this one, we're going to try and recreate it similar to it. Some of the first things you need to know about a map are things like the grave size. How big is the space? The lot size. This person, their lot is this right here. It's 4 graves down and 2 graves across, so it's 8 graves over their lot. Space between rows. How much space is here? How much space is here? Okay. Space between graves. Are they butted up next to each other? Is there 6 inches in between? Space between lots. Space between sections. Are there trees? Are there roads? You have to understand all these things. You can see here that these are one size, and you have this here. These are, I think, 6 inches smaller, but then they ended up putting people in there. So what do you do in that case? It's not hard. It's just being creative with it. You can see that I have each grave outlined. I have each lot outlined. Then I have each section outlined in a bolder or different color. It's easy to see that way. Those are things we're going to try and learn about here. So when we come back, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see how to resize these lots or these cells so that everything is on a scale. So we'll be back in just a second. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how big to make our cells. We want our cells to be a square. That way they can represent a true dimension for us. If I click in between A and B here, there we go, right there, you can see it says 53 pixels and 8 wide. I want to take that, I think the actual map down there is 17, so I'm going to take this down to 17. Okay, if you notice, I did that and it only did this one column. So what you want to do is you want to click there, click in that corner. I'm going to do the same thing again, 17. Now look, they're all 17 by I hope 17. That's 15. So I'm going to click that first. I'm going to make it 17. 17 by 17. That represents 6 inches for me. I never try and start in the top corner here. I try and give me a few spaces. So we're going to start down here. The graves on this one are 4.5 feet by 9 feet. So since we know that these cells are 6 inches, we're going to say 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 4.5 feet right there. So I'm going to merge those. Now I have one cell that is 4.5 feet by 6 inches. Next we're going to move that over. If you notice, I grabbed that bottom corner. And now it's 1 foot. Okay, so we have 1 foot. Grab that little dot. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make sure again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet. And you notice it shows them in 1 foot increments. So what I have to do here in Excel is I have to unmerge them and then merge them back. Now I have 4.5 feet by 9 feet. Okay. The next thing I want to do with this grave is I want to set this one grave up to be everything I need it to be. You're going to learn that in your cemetery, you need to have a lot of burials, have a lot of ownerships, have a lot of non-burials, and with that it's going to determine your color for this box. But everything else we can set. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I want to say right click, and I want to format the cell. So I want numbers. I want it to be all text. Next, I want to click on alignment. My alignment, I want it center and center. So I'm going to click here. Now all my text is going to be aligned in the center of that grave. I might want to wrap my text. That way, if it's a really long name, it will go across and return for me and fit it within that cell. My font. What size do I want my font? I'm thinking a 16 or an 18. It's going to depend on you, but figure out what size works for you. So I'm going to do a 16, let's say. What font do I want? I might go with a Calibri. Okay. Anything else I could do? We'll just go with that. Okay. My border. I always try and border my graves. That way the graves stand out. I have a grave that's bordered. And do I want the color? I can pick colors and stuff like that. For the most common colors, I try and stay across the top. So that would be there. If I wanted to do another spot, another green, I might come down a couple. But if you try and stay consistent in your column area, if you do it too bold, it's hard on the eye. So I try and stay soft. So we're going to leave this one though with no fill right now. And we have no color. We have our border set. We have our font to 16. We have our alignment center with a wrap text, and we have it as text. We're going to say okay. What did that do for me? Right now, the only thing you can see is the grave stands out a little bit better. Okay. So going back to this map at the finish, if we were to look at it, you can see they have a lot of green, which there's empty, so I can keep it as a white for right now, and we'll do that. I can see I have some pinks, I have some blues. It all depends on what you want. Okay, so let's go back to our map build. Oh, by the way, while we're here, let's check it out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 together, but we have 4 by 2s in a lot. Okay, so maybe we just want to go 4 by 2 and then copy the lots. Let's do that. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 by 2. All right, so now I have a lot. Hopefully all of our text, I'm just going to throw it, say it's in the center, so they're all that way. Okay, so now, but you notice it did not save my font. I had this problem earlier, so now it's saying we're 16. Okay, so we're on 16. Calibri body, we're center. Okay, we're looking good. I have my graves all outlined. I can see them, but we know this is a lot. So now I'm going to come in here. I want to format that group of cells since I highlighted all 8, and I want border. So my border here, I want to be a bold since it's not going to be a whole lot of color. I want that to kind of stand out. And you see how that might, but let's go a little bit bolder. So, okay. Now I can see the bold red around, so it tells me that's a lot. Okay. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We know that there was 2 of these side by side. See, they separated it. And then it was this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have the 4 like we want. Now I want to take these. They had a more bold formatting around the section. So I'm going to go bold like that with that. And maybe I want it to be a little different in red. Let's try that again. I don't think it quite got that. There we go. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Never mind. I want my text to be back to black. Format my cell. Format. Bold. Bold. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now you can have the black for graves, red for lots, and dark red for section. Okay. I know that these here were a little bit different. These were 4.5 wide. These are 4 wide. So I want to zoom in here. And I could do something to the effect of this and make it so that they were all merged, and it's that way. But we know that they buried in them, so I can't bury in all these spots if I do that. So I'm going to unmerge that. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 foot wide. I want to merge that. And then I'm going to grab that. And there's that grave. Okay. But that's not really a grave right now. That's a walkway. So I want that to be green. Okay. And then over on this side here, I know that it was 6 feet wide. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Merge. Make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet. Okay. We know there's not any burials here right now. But you know, in the future, they might want to do something there. So we can mark that. Still the grave size. Come on down. We'll go to there. Because remember, these are 4.5. So you notice when I did this last one, it went 6 inches over, right? So I'm going to take this one and build it by itself. Build. These are also walkways. So I want that to be green. So at first glance, you see this, and it looks like I have graves and walkways. But really, these could be graves. You see how I click on those? I could still use them as graves. These are long enough and wide enough. These are wide enough, but possibly not long enough. But they may turn around and say, we'll let cremations go in here, so I can still use it. That's why I try and track the grave size. So with that, you can see how quickly we can build. When we come back, what we will do is we will go through and we will copy all of this, and we'll explain some of those things for you. Okay, now we have our first section done. We have our graves done, we have our lots done, and we have a section done. We also did some walkways. what we're going to do is we're going to go across this multiple. So we need to see how many we have here. Let's go to the original map. And I'm referring to this original map just as if it were a paper map. So I have one section, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections across. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections down. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 5 by 5. If you notice, we have walkway to the right. We have walkways underneath. Here's where we know they're buried in the walkways. Here. And we will account for that later. So we have to do 5 sections by 5 sections. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go across. So I have one section, 2, 3. Okay. I can make that a little bit bigger if I want. There's 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 sections across. Now we have to do 5 sections down. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. There we are. We have our 5 by 5. Look how quick I built that cemetery. Zoom all the way out. 5 by 5. Now, if you did notice, we had other information up here. So we're going to zoom in a little bit. We had a burial above that. So we know that we have to add spaces to that because it was 4 feet at least. So I clicked 1 foot and I right clicked. I highlighted over here on the side. I can highlight here or I can highlight here. That did the whole row. I'm going to right click on top of the numbers. I want to insert. And since I did 2, it inserted 2. So now I'm going to do 4. Insert before that, 4. And I might even do it one more time. Right click, insert. There we go. We should have plenty of room now. Do we want to do it this way too? We might. So let's give a couple. Insert and insert. So now we have some extra space. So if we do that again, come and zoom in or zoom out, you can see where we are. We can eventually draw that green border around it if we want. So let's get back to a working view. We notice that there was a number here because that's that lot number. Let's go back and look at that map. Let's zoom in a little bit. That was lot number 1. Look how their numbering is 2, 3, 4. It goes to lot number all the way down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then it goes over and back up. So what we're going to do now, since we want to add that, we want to come into insert and we want to insert a shape. The shape we want to insert is a square. We know that this is going to be the lot, the lot. So I want to put a square right here in the center of all that. And we're going to say about 91 by 91. Okay. Let's see how bold that is. I cannot see the lines through it. So I want that to be a little transparent because I want to be able to see through there. %60 transparent. Okay. I want my text to be middle center. I want it to be a little bit bigger, 16. I want it to be bold. I want it to stand out. This is lot 1. You see it's white. I don't want it white. Come back to our text here. I want my color to be black. 16 bold, 1, we're done. It still is not going transparent for me. There's what my problem is. I'm working in my text. I'm trying to make the text transparent. I want it to be 0% transparent. I want to go back to my shape. That's what I want, 60% transparent. Okay, so I have that 60% transparent. You can see through it. My text options. The color is black. Transparency 0. There it is. Maybe I want to go a little bit bigger. Let's take it up to 24. 1. Okay, there we go. Remember, we can copy, Control C, Control V. Put that there. That's going to be a 2. And you can see how it's going. And we could continue that down. So now you can see how those are showing up. So it's going to be 10. I can do Control C. 11. Let's zoom back in here. If I'm not mistaken, this one should be 20. This one should be 19. And I would continue that for the rest of it. So we have those all coming in, okay? I can even do something like this. Control, oh, I can't do it on this one. I'm on a Mac, so it's a little bit different for me than what I'm used to on my Windows machine. So the next thing we want to do is we have our graves, we have our lots, and now we want to mark our section. If you look at this map, our sections, 1, 2, 3 same way. Okay, so let's go back to our map build. So I want to take and I want to insert a shape, a square. I want that square to be right here. Center it, but I don't want it to be blue because I want it to be a little bit different. Format the shape. I want the shape color, I want it to be kind of a gold. I want it to be transparent. So we're going to make that 60%. Text options, I want it to be solid, I want it to be black, no transparency, anything I want there. I want it to be in the middle and centered, and that's what we get. Now click out, get back in. See, it's at 11, so let's go a little bit bigger. Let's go 24, and we want it bold, and this is going to be 1. Back. 1. Enter. Zoom in on that. What do we have? We have a 1. I know right where my lines are because of that. So I can copy that one, Control C. 1. 2. Is that going to be enough? It's 24. 2. Go back. Let's make that bigger. Let's go 36. 2. Come up here. $36. 1. Back. Okay. Let's zoom out. So, see, we have our graves, lots, and sections, and they're standing out. Okay, so we got all 4 sides. How do I know what grave is what? That's going to be our next one. Let's go to map. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grave. Okay, A, B, C, D. And it starts over A, B, C, D. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. We're going to insert again. Or we can copy here. Let's just copy that. Control C. Come up here. Control V. A. B. C. Zoom out. Zoom back in. Let's see if that fixed it or not. That looks much better. Control C. This one is going to be D. There we go. Okay. Same thing over here. Control C. V. 1. Control C. V. 2. V. 3. One thing I do not like about a Mac is when I run a Windows program on it, it does have some glitches, but you'll notice it's still here. Now I say they're still here. I hope they're still here. Let's zoom out. There we go. And you can align these however you want. Maybe we should align these we did to the top. Maybe we should do the same thing there. You can always modify it after the fact. Let's go down one line and with the left edge. One line and with the left edge. One line with the left edge. One line with the left edge. Okay, there we are. So with that being said, you can see where we're at now. We could continue going, finish this all off, and that's what I'll do, and I'll be back in a few minutes. So now I'm back. You notice that they're all laid out now. Each one has its row down the side, or its row down the side, its column across the top. They're all lined up. Each lot is marked all the way through, and each section is marked all the way through. So with that being said, we can go on and we can start building our graves. You notice here in lot 1, section 1, A2, we have John Marion Beals. So we're going to say John Marion Beals. There it is. Let's zoom in and see how that looks a little bit closer. We do not want the dark. So let's say format. Let's go to home. A little bit easier. Come on. We want all that text. There we go. John Marion Beals. And then on map we have Albert Marion Beals. Adelbert Marion Beals. Adelbert Marion Beals. Because we had the same thing there. Because I did not get that set correctly, or I changed it by accident, I'm going to have to change it all the way through. So you can see the importance of getting things set up ahead of time. But now we want to color these. These are graves that have been filled. So for this one, they wanted pink and light green and blues. I'm going to use light colors because it's a little simpler on my eyes. I'm going to say I want that to be a burial. Okay. So those two are buried. And you can see John Hershey and H. Hershey in 6. J. Hershey. J. Hershey and H. Hershey. There it went. Okay. These are actual burials. These were ownerships. So I want a light color for the ownership. I might go across and do one here. So those are owners. Those are burials. And we could keep going. Do they have something different? I think they have another color. I have that one. I don't know why it was that color. Maybe it was reserved for them. Occupied, reserved, available. But there they are. Now you can see we'll try a couple of these here. This was in underneath 11. Okay, I'm going to copy this so I don't have to retype it, but we're going to go into 11 there. Okay, underneath 11. 11 right there. Under 11 there. Okay, now notice that's not formatted. We didn't format that one completely. So we want it in the middle. We want, I think there were 16. So there she is. She is buried. So instead of being an alley green, we want her to be a light green. Is that correct? Yes, it is. We have Vern Vokes. I'm gonna come over here. Paste, cancel, paste directly in, enter. Same thing, it's not formatted. So we want that in the center, text to be black, we want that to be a 16, and we want the color to be that. So they have those, and then they had a couple purchases. David Monroe Price. Control Z, undo that. We wanted you. We want the light blue. I want it centered. We'll come finish this one. Copy. What was our key? Blue was reserved. Okay. This is reserved for her. paste. Center would have to be there. Okay. Now you notice the difference is I don't have my grave lines here, so I'm going to highlight those four. I want to format those cells. I want borders. Okay. See, they got those, but I want a single line border, and I want it to be the black there, there, and there. Okay. See, it put it on the ends and in the middles, but I still have the sections. So zoom out and take a peek at how we look here. See, we have some here, we have some here, we have some here, and we can go ahead and finish it out. And that's what it would look like when it's finished out, except with our change of colors. We have all of those. That's where we would be if we kept going. So we have one over here, and so on. The biggest thing is whenever you draw a map, don't forget to put your key in here. The key to the whole thing. I tried to clearly, there's your column, there's your row. Grave equals column plus row, so A1, A2, or B1, C1, D1. There's our block. Okay, there's our lots. That's our actual grave. Okay. So there we are with that. We put a key on its own page, so if we want to print it out, we can. The index. We're going to zoom in on the index here. We tell what block it's in. We tell what lot it's in. We tell what space. A1, B1, A2, B2. We have our map. You'll notice some of these are maps, some of these are not. Obit. We can link to the obits if we have it. Last name, first name, middle name, nickname, maiden name, prefix, suffix. And here is an interesting fact. When we do this with the birth, the death, and the burial time, this here they have a birth year of 1830. They don't know the month of the day. If you did this in a date format, you wouldn't be able to put that in. So we try and break it down to a year, a month, and a day. So you may have just a year and a month and no day. But with it this way, you can put that in. 1830, 1849, July 8th. We have city, county, state, country. We put down where they're born at. So we have all that. We have death. Notice our death. Year, month, day. This person, we know the year, we know the month, we know the day. This person, we only know the year. We can do the death place. We could do a lot more information if we wanted. See, we have room over here. I could come in and do the same thing with merge this cell. Merge. And say burial. This is 11 bold. So we're going to make this one bold. Year, month, day. So if you have that information, you can put that in there. You can put anything you want up here. Break it down to the least common denominator so that everything fits in. You can stretch it so you can see it completely. But let's go back to here. Let me delete this real quick since we have it built the way we want. We showed it. I'm going to delete that, yes. So we're going to use the original map that we have now since we rebuilt that. So we have everybody that is in here is mapped in. Okay. Map. Everybody's been mapped. Okay, well, since it looks like that everybody's been mapped, let's get back to that. We are going to just pick a spot. We are going to map block 4, lot 8, B5. Lot 4. See, block 4, lot 8, B5. Zoom in. Lot 4. 8, B5, A, B. So I click in there and you'll see up here, it's going to tell me what that cell name is. A3 or AR303. I can copy it. Okay, so now we're going to put a name here just for play. Let's say Dennis. Okay, I'll go back to index and we're going to say Dennis. Map. Here's where we're going to do this at. We're going to right click on here. I want to hyperlink. So I'm going to create a hyperlink. Where do I want it at? I want it on this document because this is a complete document. These are worksheets within a document, but I want on this document. Where do I want to go to? I want to go to map because I want to link it to the map section. I want to link it to AR303. AR303. And I want the text to be displayed as map. So I'm going to say OK. You can see now it's created a hyperlink. And that hyperlink is there now. My finger comes up. So if I click it, it took me right to Dennis. You can see the green here is in that row. Green here is in that column. So that's where we're at. If I wanted to go somewhere else, so let's see if we can get somewhere else here. Index. We'll come way down here. Let's go to this Philip Henry Sinovac. Find my green at the top up here, green, and my green right here. So Philip Henry Sinovac, right there he is. So that's what we can do there. One of the other things we can do, let's go find Dennis again. There's Dennis, okay. So I've got Dennis's information. That's where Dennis was. Nope. There he is, right there. Okay, 485B5. Okay. You saw all the information I have there, but I can do other things. Maybe I shouldn't use it on this one because I don't think we're going to see it. But let's say, let's do this. Delete 312. Dennis. Index. Delete. Hyperlink. Map. AR312. Okay. This one here. I want to edit and remove the hyperlink. Let's go here. Did that go to Dennis now? Alright, we went back to Dennis. If you see, it's just a normal. But I could do something to the effect of insert a comment. Here I can say anything else I want to say. Change my font size. Let's go to 20. Let's say Dennis was a firefighter in Des Moines, Iowa. This grave was paid for by his union. So I can click off, and you see that nothing special, but you see a little red in the corner. Right click, show the comment. There it is. If I want to edit that, I can now say edit that comment. It was placed in the name of his daughter. He was originally from Granite City, Illinois. Okay. I want to hide that comment. There it's hidden. But when I'm somewhere else, I still see that little red mark. So I know there's a comment there. If I get on there, in Windows, that comment will automatically pop up for you. So it's a little different with Windows than it is with Mac. But there's how we do things. Let's delete that comment, and you see the triangle's gone now. I want to delete that. Index. I want to edit that. I want to remove that hyperlink. And I want to delete that. But yes, we can be creative like that. You see over here I have other things. I have the key. We saw that earlier. There's the key to the map. Tells what's what. So if I want to print it out, I have that printed. Lot 1. I took each lot for this cemetery and I printed out. That way if they wanted to print it each on its own page, they could. So they have things like that. It's all about being creative. What more would you like to do with it? So play with it. Check it out. And if you come up with something new, let me know. Thanks for watching.